this 8th figure is not American enough. She's way too British because she is holding T instead of a big ass gun, so I'm not feeling like it. Hi and welcome back to the channel. I'm Steven with your weekly figure news fix, this time around 12th to 17th of January 2025. And barely 2 days after I published a video on a big Nikke figure unboxing, we are going to go through new Nikke figures again this week. This is almost a weekly thing now, yeah. But fortunately, there are not too many new figures on pre-order this week. So without further ado, let's move on to Hobby Link Japan for our first stop with genuine licensed anime PVC figures. As usual, if you are an existing Hobby Link Japan or OzGK customer, please to make use of my links down in the description below to make any purchases or pre-orders, and that is how you support this channel. Those are my affiliate links. You can also click on the pop-up chat box or link that appears on the top right corner of this video every once in a while, and we shall begin with the largest scale over here. By rights, I don't have to cover this because, you know, I only cover Japanese and Chinese and Korean stuff. I mean, Nikke is Korean, right? Blue Archive too. Anyways, 1x2 scale Infinity Studio Lord of the Rings Galadriel, 410,000 yen, almost, releasing in January next year, 2027. It is pretty impressive that they can get this statue out within a year. And at this scale, it means getting a kinda realistic hair or wig in this case, right? If they made the hair using, you know, resin, polystone, whatever other material it is, then it won't look good at all, especially at this scale. And for a realistic character, yeah. So I don't really have much other comments. And moving on to the next one here, we have Infinity Studio again. Jeans from Arcane Season 2, 136,000 yen, releasing in July this year, 7 months away. And I've covered this already 2 or 3 weeks ago on OzGK. The pre-order opened early over there. I was actually pretty impressed. I think OzGK had higher resolution pictures and more pictures of her close up. You can even see the veins, right, on her face, around the corner of her eyes. Pretty realistic for 1x4 scale, but this is not my kind of thing. Moving on to the next 1x4 scale, which is everyone's kind of thing, at least for those of you watching this channel regularly, I suppose. She was bestseller on AmiAmi for a few days before being knocked off the top place, and the new figure that is #1 spot right now, I can't remember anymore. So this is Shinano from Azur Lane, 1x4 scale by Alphamax, 35,000 yen, releasing in October, 10 months away. Yes, this Shinano figure looks really nice, and you need to remember she has those tails behind her, which means more materials, more casting. And that means this could have been a 40,000 yen figure at least, but it is 35k. I'm sure if Freeing did one, it would be more expensive. If not, they would omit the tail completely, right? Just like some albedo figures, you know, they cut cost and offer it at a lower price, but in exchange, you get the small wings, not the big one, or sometimes no wings at all, as in the case with some price figures. So it may sound weird that I complain about Freeing's overpriced bunny girls, yet I seem to be okay with these, but you know, I'm factoring in those tails over there, so I think this is a good purchase or pre-order. Just that, yeah, we don't know if this will retain the value or bargain bin after release, because a lot of Azur Lane stuff, they bargain bin, right? Yeah, regardless of the manufacturer even. Moving on to the next one here, directly from Capcom, we have Leon S. Kennedy from Resident Evil Requiem, almost 25,000 yen. And another character from this game, this is Grace Ashcroft. Same price, releasing in September as well. So Capcom is obviously involved in making games, and figures are more like a side quest to them. I don't think they are the ones manufacturing them either. They must have outsourced it. And if you were to ask me, are Capcom's figures any good? The answer is an easy no. Yeah. Of course, it is not like Resident Evil fans have much options out there when it comes to collecting figures, but in general, game developers like Capcom or even Square Enix, yeah, their figures are not good. Right, so moving on to the next one here, 1x6 scale Magic Arts, the Song of Saya, Saya no Uta, right? 23,000 yen only at 1x6 scale, which is great price considering all of the tentacles over here. Okay, not exactly tentacles. I call this vegetarian tentacles, right? So 23k for all of this is great price, and I know there are a lot of Saya no Uta fans, a lot, even though not exactly my thing. This is coming out in March 2027, long wait, and Magic Arts is a premium Chinese scale figure brand. Their stuff are great. I have no problems with them, so if you like her, pre-order it, because I think this is the best Saya scale figure yet. There were a few over the last decade, like a few years ago, there was 1 or 2 figures of her. There is also pop-up praise of her, but as far as premium scale figures are concerned, this is the best one so far, yeah. Just that the base, okay, I think it looks fine. 23,000 yen only. Moving on to the next one here. This one was just listed like an hour ago before I recorded this. 1x6 scale Brown Dust 2. One of the leading Gunner games going into 2026, I'm seeing a huge rise in popularity and attention, both from the Gunner gamers and also from figure companies. Good Smile just announced a trio of figures from this game. I think it was 2 Nandroids and 1 skilled figure, right? And just a matter of time before we see a huge number of scales being announced. Maybe next month in One Fest, right? So this Guardian Zenith over here is made by a brand that I've never seen before. Literally my first time seeing this name, Artifacts Stellarum. But going by the price of 20,000 yen only at 1x6 scale, I'm going to guess this is 99% a Chinese brand. 99%. Releasing this October. And unfortunately for Artifacts, I'm not really feeling this character. Like, she looks fine, but I'm going to stop saying that swimsuit figures are boring. I will stop saying that because there are obvious exceptions out there. Just that, yeah, I'm not feeling it with this one. This is like Brown Dust 2 version of Evangelion's Asuka. Let's call it that way, right? With big Oppai, of course. So far, every Brown Dust 2 promotional materials I've seen on the internet, all of them are big Oppai. No lollies yet. Next up here, okay, this is a bit of an odd one in my opinion. This is coming from a very new brand called Umikawa. They made their very first appearance almost 1 year ago in One Fest Winter 2025. That was the first time this brand appeared, and they displayed a few, like a couple of prototypes and not much else. So almost a year later, this figure of Aga Oyoko illustrated by Faimrie is pre-order opening at 18,000 yen, releasing in November. And to me, if I have to be honest over here, they better do an excellent job with this figure, because I feel like I'm looking at a low budget Chinese figure that costs no more than 12,000 yen. This is 18k with a wall scroll. If you don't want that, figure only 16k, which under normal circumstances is considered a really low price for a premium 1x6 scale anime figure. But, you know, I hope that the case over here is that the official product photographs are not doing the figure enough justice. Happens a lot. Even user pictures sometimes don't tell enough of how good a figure is until you look at the figure with your own eyes. So I really hope that is the case with this figure, because this really reminds me of cheap figures coming from Chinese brands, right? Not too special in any way, and no cast off, obviously, not to mention the pose and the outfit design. Everything else is on the simple side. So this better be something special, yeah. At the moment, I remain pessimistic. Moving up to the next one of the main highlights this week, a very expensive, almost 30,000 yen Shiro from No Game No Life by Good Smile Company, releasing in January next year. And when I saw the colors over here, she is pretty much a walking rainbow ice cream or LGBT flag, whatever it is, very colorful. Just that lolly character, 1x7 scale, which means not a very big figure, 30k, feels like a rip-off, feels like something that may, you know, bargain bin after release, but there are a lot of Shiro scale figures out there that are so unpredictable. There are those that went up in value. The most notable one is the one by Eastream or Shibuya Scramble figure. Went up to over 80,000 yen at one point. And there are also those that bargain bins, like the ones made by Fat Company, because it is Fat Company we're talking about. Just that if there's something I am hoping for, is that the figure will turn out to be bigger than the advertised scale, which is the case with Fat Company No Game No Life figures, right? Lolly characters, but their Shiro figures, they feel like the size is quite substantial. Maybe it is the hair giving that false impression that the figure is big, but it isn't. Maybe that is the case. So I hope that at least this figure is roughly the same size as Fat Company's No Game No Life figures. That would be more than good enough, right? And when one of you in my Discord server shared this picture, this figure in my server in the PVC figure channel, I was quick to jump on it. Yeah, I need to buy this and tag all of the SJWs over in Twitter or X and start a drama. Yeah, I'm not afraid of a backlash from SJWs regarding lolly characters, because depending on how you play it, right, a drama stirred up by a content creator or an influencer, it can drive traffic, right? Even negative publicity is also a form of publicity. Depending on how you spin it, it can be beneficial to you. And if someone ever accuses you of being a PDF file, then you just respond with legal action. Defamation lawsuit, right? Learn from Esmond Gold. I'm going to keep supporting the Lolly is Justice cause. Moving on to the next one here. Also a main highlight this week, even though she's wearing JK outfit. Oh, this week is about JK's. That is sailor uniform earlier. Yup. And this is school uniform. Goddess of Victory Nikke Naga. This is her first scale figure, I think. Almost 23,000 yen, releasing in January next year. Do I want one? Absolutely. Just that I don't know yet if I should pre-order it early. I feel like I can wait because Azur's existing Nikke scale figures, including Viper Toxic Rabbit, which came out just a couple of months ago, her price is already falling. At least in Taobao, China, right? She's now like under 20,000 yen. Her normal price is 22 or 23,000 yen, but now she's falling below 20k. So I think it is best for me to wait. I think the same thing would happen to this figure, but yes, I absolutely want one. The brown skin over here, the gradient, look at the knee. That is fabulous paintwork. Yeah. The next Nikke figure over here is coming from a brand that I did not expect to jump on the Nikke bandwagon. 8 1/7 scale by DMM Factory, 25,000 yen, releasing this October as well. So pricing wise, I think it is reasonable. You look at the skirt over there. How many layers of it underneath, right? The 3D parts. So that is not cheap to manufacture. However, this 8 figure is not American enough. She's way too British because she is holding T instead of a big ass gun. So I'm not feeling like it, right? Reminds me of this maid character in the anime Black Lagoon, where they have a badass maid who is hiding big guns underneath her skirt. So if this nurse figure came with big guns instead of a nice cup of tea, I would be more convinced to get it. But it seems like this is all we get. No additional parts to swap out. So yeah, I will wait until after release. I mean, if I can find a bargain deal, maybe, right? But I won't pay 25k for this. Moving on to the next one here. PM Office A is back with idol figures. They love their idols. This is Temari Tsukimura from Idolmaster Gakuen, 1/7 scale. Almost 22,000 yen after a small discount. Every PM Office A figures get slightly discounted over here in HLJ. Regardless of whether it is IMAS or Love Life, I'm not quite sure why. Maybe they have a special deal going on with HLJ. Yep. A generic idol figure, and even for an idol character, you know, the outfit is not very idol-like, not flashy enough. This is something that only IMAS Gakuen fans can appreciate, I guess. Yeah, I'm not the target audience, not the target customer. Nice photograph though. Moving on to the next one here, the last 3 figures are chibi figures from Rebos. This is Honkai Star Rail Nameless Honor at Chiron. Right, 2,400 yen, September release. Looks really nice though. And then the next one here, Honkai Star Rail Firefly, obviously, 2400 yen, September release. And lastly, we have Aventurine, 2400 yen as well, September release. So that is all for genuine figures on pre-order on Hobby Link Japan for this week. But we have more on Ami, which at the time of recording, not yet available in HLJ, right? So some Hobby Sakura figures, they get listed a bit later than usual on HLJ for some reason, especially original characters. Yeah, and this is one of those. Neat Bunny Girl illustration by Sheila 77. I think it's pronounced as Sheila Nana, is it? In Japanese. Anyways, 26,000 yen after a small discount. 26k is the price actually, right? 27k is including the Japanese tax. September 2026 release. Okay. So I do feel that this is kinda overpriced because Hobby Sakura, they usually have original character figures that are around 20 to 22,000 yen max, and the difference between that 2,000 yen over there is for a wall scroll. But this could be a resin figure because Hobby Sakura has a select few resin figures for whatever reason. So we scroll down to the bottom here to take a look at the details of the figure. Comes with a wall scroll at this price. Oh, I overlooked something important. 1/6 scale, not 1/7. Okay, that explains the slightly higher price. When I said Hobby Sakura original character figures are 20 to 22,000 yen, that is 1/7. This is 1/6. Okay, fair enough. And obviously, there is a standard version here for 24k if you do not want the wall scroll. In terms of character design, I like it a lot, but yeah, not paying this price for an original character. That may bargain bin. Like, there is a very high chance, a lot of Hobby Sakura original characters, they bargain bin after release. So bear in mind about this before you pre-order early. Moving on to the next one here. Animaster low budget figures, they tend to be listed in HLJ much later. This is not an exclusive. So later this week, maybe Tuesday or Wednesday, you'll see HLJ offer this one. Jellyfish Girl Shizuku Guru by Animaster, 7,300 yen, releasing in July. Is this like Animaster's most lewd figure yet so far? Pretty close, I think. Pretty close, right? So how they are able to get this figure down at the price this low, this one is easy to explain. Her outfit, they are not even painted at all. It is translucent color injected PVC or plastic. So the material, they inject it with color and then they just mold it into the shape and put it on the figure. Probably not much painting required. Maybe there's a bit of shading, they just spray on top of the material, but when you don't need to paint and coat a figure's part, then you cut the cost a lot. So this is very similar to the approach used by many price figure brands. Look at those Ram and Rams or many of those swimsuit figures. Sometimes they come with translucent looking parts. Yeah, that is how you cut cost. They look nice and they are cheap to manufacture. Character design, I don't like it, but there's no reason to pre-order it early, right? These things are so easy to find in Chinese websites after release. Moving on to the next one here. Okay, so this is Xenovia Bunny version 1/4 scale from High School DxD Hero by Freeing, 40,000 yen, June 2026 release. I think there was an older Xenovia figure that came out many years ago, right? I think there was one. I do like Xenovia a lot among the characters in High School DxD. This feels like looking at New Jersey all over again. Just that New Jersey is one of the shittiest anime waifus in the sense that every figure of her bargain bins, no matter the brand, even the Apex Toys wedding dress 40,000 yen version, believe it or not, at one point, just a few days ago before I recorded this video today, you can find her on Ami in the sale section for 28,000 yen. And then there is the infamous 1/4 scale by Freeing, the pole dancing version, just like this one over here, which got a half price discount, 60k down to 30k on Ami as well. And she comes with 4 giant plastic bases. So I look at this, reminds me of New Jersey, a bit of PTSD over there. Not like it affects me because I sold my New Jersey wedding figure already. So hey, I sold her at a higher price. Anyways, back to this Xenovia figure over here. Should you wait for a bin just like the New Jersey figure? In this case, the answer is no, because high school DxD stuff do fetch quite some money in the aftermarket. So no, despite my PTSD with New Jersey figures bargain binning, that does not apply to this figure, just that, the character design and the hair color reminds me of her. If you want Zenobia over here, pre-order it early. This is one of those exceptions where you should really pre-order it. Yeah. Moving on to the next figure here on Ami. Q6 is making stuff from Nokitashi. Very interesting. And I fully support it. Misaki Hotori cow pattern costume again. Very popular nowadays. 1x5 scale. Nice. For under 25,000 yen. June 2026 release. So Zenobia earlier from High School DxD. I forgot to mention it. Yes, not on HLJ, and the reason is simple. That figure is kinda partially customable. They don't advertise it, but we all know that every High School DxD figure from Freeing is customable for the Oppai part, so that is why it is not on HLJ. This one here, same reason. Q6 makes 18 plus figures, so you won't find her on HLJ. And there is also a 10th version over here for the same price and same release month. I actually prefer the normal skin color earlier. Some anime characters, they look better with a 10th skin, some not so much, case by case basis. And for this character, I feel like the normal skin color looks better. Just that, if there is an advantage to buying the 10th version over here, I think the shading on the skin looks more prominent, more obvious. Yeah. Okay, moving on to the next one. Should I say something about Q6? Like I discussed about that brand quite a few times. Q6, it is a B-tier brand, average, but their figures are nowhere bad. If you like them, purchase them, pre-order them, because they offer big scales at a very reasonable price. Okay, so the next one right here, the next 7 figures, I think, they are from Ami's age restricted section. Ecchi figures. First one is by Pink Cat, also a branch of Native. Mataro original character, Demon Exorcist, Student Council President, Reika Danza-in. Okay, 36,000 yen at 1/6 scale, July release, and yes, it is customable. Detail level on this is decent, I would say. I love the mismatched stocking, one stocking and one bandage. Sometimes, a bit of asymmetry in outfit design makes a character stand out more. I like it. The nice thing about ecchi figures like this is that you can display them and make them appear normal, even though they are far from normal. Yeah. Next up over here, we have Omaha, Chinese brand actually, but they are asking for over 52,000 yen for a 1x4 scale bikini figure. Hana illustrated by Hiyori Sano, 52,000 yen, releasing in January 2027. Yep. Just a customable bikini figure at 1x4 scale. Now, I know that I complain about bindings, ecchi figures at 1x4 scale costing 44,000 yen on average being expensive, but what the heck? A Chinese brand comes up with an ecchi figure that is nowhere better than a binding figure, yet is asking for an additional 8,000 yen or so compared to binding figures. This is insane. I think this is not worth it at all, even if you can remove her undergarment, because this is, customable. You are not exactly swapping out an entire torso. You remove her outfit, so I think this is cast off. You are not swapping out an entire body. For a large figure like this and wearing only undergarment, they don't really have to manufacture an entire separate body just for you to swap it out. They can make the bikini with pecs on the side and then just peel it out. So that is way too expensive for what she is. This is like Tokisaki Kurumi at the same time. No, not Tokisaki Kurumi, White Queen. Yeah. And there is a 1x6 scale version here at 21,000 yen, which is a lot more reasonable, right? 21k for a customable 1/6 is a good price. So for this case, I would say just get the 1/6. Yeah, the 1/4 is not worth it. Next up, this is a nice one. We have Daishi Kyocera special version, illustration by Shimao. 1x6 scale by Pink Mango, almost 30,000 yen, November 2026 release. Pink Mango is also another good brand for ecchi figures, makes great figures, and If you like her, yep, pre-order it. These kind of edgy figures, their values more than often they will go up after release. And there is a slightly cheaper version here at about 27,000 yen or so. I believe the difference is like a wall scroll or something. Let's go back to the deluxe version and see what is the bonus. There we go, A2 wall scroll. Right. Okay, I'm moving on to the next figure. Right here, Okakizuki, original character, Hasami made, Meru Hasama 1/6 scale by Hot Venus, 33,000 yen, releasing in November 2026. Yeah, big opai made. But this one, you can have her serve you some cake on her opai as a swappable part. So this is quite a unique made figure. Not a bad purchase or pre-order really. This week, we have really good edgy figures all around. And there are more coming in the third party later on. A lot of Gunner figures this week. Next up, Hand Reader. I regard him to be the lolly master or the lolly god. Like all of his character designs are like this, and for the sake of safety on YouTube, that is all I can show just in case, right? Taikusai Ichinen Agumi Misaki. That is a barrel pass for my Japanese, I guess. 24,750 yen, releasing in November 2026. Do I want it? Big yes. Just to post the pictures on Twitter or X and piss off some people. I want it, but I don't have enough money to splurge on these things. You know, Nikke, FGO already robbing me dry, and recently I need to spend on computer parts before the prices go up. It was insane, you know. I bought an RTX 5060 Ti 16GB, and barely a week later, there are news of the discontinuation, or rather the cut in production, together with the 5070. I was like, holy crap, if I was late in buying it, even by 1 week, I would be so screwed. Yeah. So January is a pretty expensive month for me. Next up here, the last figure on Ami Kaze Kaoru Hokago, different color version, illustrated by Hitomio. That character over there, when I saw it, I knew it was Hitomio. There were low budget figures of her as well. I think it was by Kawa Design. This is by Lovely, a premium edgy figure brand from China. Their figures are excellent. 26,400 yen, and yeah, this is customable. Releasing in March 2026, which is like 2 months away, which means this could be on pre-order a while ago, and then, you know, Ami bumped her up to the top of the page. That could be what happens over here. Yeah. And our last stop for genuine licensed PVC figures, yep, Ninin Game to check out Beautiful Insight stuff. 3 of them this week. The Neighbor Lady is an exhibitionist, Kanae 1/6 scale, re-release. There we go. Insight makes absolutely garbage figures, but people, they eat them up and they have to re-release it. Yeah, especially Japanese, right? From what I know, it is mostly domestic Japanese collectors that are buying them up. 22,000 yen, releasing in July. And the next one here, Failed Tentacle Subjugation Record, Inashiro Raikard. I like the character design on this, but Giant Opai again, no thank you. 22k releasing in July as well. And the last one here, a trap. Yep. Androgynous Boy Health Check U. 1/6 scale, 22k releasing in July as well. And that is all for licensed genuine PVC figures on pre-order this week. Now I move on to OSGK for third-party resin figures. A lot of Gunner stuff that I'm forced to censor, unfortunately. Next up, yep, our first section would be chibi characters. I think we have 2 Anyas and 1 Card Captor Sakura figure here. The first one here, ZH Studio is back. Anya Magikarp with a Chinese New Year twist, very creative. $122 releasing in... Okay, not release date yet, but ZH Studio has a pretty strong track record by now. You don't have to doubt them at all. 2 versions, glittering gold and New Year red. Okay, I would take the red color because, you know, that is Magikarp's color. Moving on to the next Anya here, this is a nice crossover, and I have the same exact scale figure of Asuka, the Jersey one, by Alter. This is based off that, I think. RX Studio Anya Cosplay, Asuka, $116. You can choose between short hair and long hair. Okay. Long hair, oh. Okay, this one, it looks nice, but in my opinion, I am unable to tell that this is Anya, right? So I think if you want this to be obvious that it is Anya, then you choose this one. That would be a better choice. Yep, this one over here. I think this boils down to whether you want this figure to look like a chibi version of Asuka or Anya itself. Just that, the legs are a tad bit too long for Anya. Anya is still a child. So this looks like they forced an adult's or a teenager's body into the head of a child. Yeah, the proportion is a bit weird, but I still can accept it, I suppose. Moving on to the next one here, ACGN02 Studio. They love recasting GKs. As for whether this pair of figures are GKs from Japan, I have no clue, right? This is like the first time I'm seeing them making something like this. Sakura Kinomoto and Tomoya Daidoji. A set for $199 releasing in September. Yeah, they look fairly nice for chibi figures. Okay, I'm moving on to the next one here. The second section is life-sized plastic waifus, only one this week, and this one is not very nice. Like, I don't like the face at all. Basilia Mandala, $4,100 for the deluxe version. No, the face is like a train wreck to me. Yeah, not my type. I wouldn't call it a train wreck. That is a bit too harsh, right? Okay, not much comments. How do you face a problem when the problem is your face, right? Moving up next, we are now in original characters section, only one figure this week. DK Studio Fortune Orb Fertility Effigy Statue Set. $542 for the whole set with the diorama, and I do like the diorama here more than the main figure itself, typical of me because I am a figure photographer after all, and I make my own scenes with 3D printing usually. But in this case, the scene is like not wide, not big enough for me to use with my figures anyway, so this is an easy pass. As for the figure itself, it is just like a pretty realistic character and not much else, right? I think the hair can make do with more detail, or rather shading, I guess. I love complaining about shading in anime figures. Or we can interpret this as a realistic version of CC from Code Geass, I don't know. Moving on to the next one, we are now in anime character section. Yep, this is anime character apparently, Chinese anime at least. PJ Studio licensed figure brand, Throne of Steel Animation, Sheng Chai-er. There has been a few figures of her already. Wait, I think I covered this before, but there was no price back then. Now we have a price for $55 at 1:4 scale, releasing in December. So let's have a quick look. Yeah, this is like Chinese MMORPG game character design, but apparently this is from an animation. I'm not even surprised anymore with all of the details in this statue. After all, it is 1:4 and it is resin. Base is pretty unique. I do like the way the figure is being set up over here. Moving on to the next one, we have Mitsui Kangoji from Demon Slayer in a Hot Spring Fast Studio. $116. This feels more like a bust figure to me, rather than a proper figure, Only the top half of the figure inside a base which happens to be a hot spring. Yeah, this is a bust figure, $116, and it is not worth it even at this price because the scale is 1:10 apparently. Yeah, go and buy something else, right? There are other third parties of her, or you can buy the genuine ones by Mega House. Releasing in June. Moving on to the next one here, we have Free Run from Chain Studio, $133 only. September release, and for me, my problem with this figure is pretty simple. I feel like I'm looking at a Naruto figure or something. Yeah, the effect parts and the base really reminds me of those shonen figures by third-party brands with all of the explosions with rocks and debris spraying around, and then we have lightning or fire, flame, and so on. You can imagine, right? Their One Piece, Bleach, Naruto figures are all like that. Not all, but a lot of them are like that. This reminds me of that, and so I don't like it. That's number one. Number two is that the entire figure looks a bit stiff. Like, I'm not quite sure how to describe it, but her pose looks pretty unnatural. Yeah, it looks like someone who is inexperienced in acting. And when you ask that inexperienced actor or actress to pose in front of a camera, then they are like very stiff, not natural. It feels that way to me. So I don't like this one. Moving on to the next one here, Lollicool Studio. I'm pretty surprised that they are now hopping on anime characters. They like doing Blue Archive stuff or game characters in general. So now they are going for Roxy Migodia from Mushoku Tensei, $255. Yeah, for the whole thing over here, which is not a bad price at all. Releasing in June. Of course, outside of her face, they need to focus on the feet, right? They focus on that a lot. And we do get 2 face sculpts over here. So that is a good price for $255. Just that I'm not sure what I'm looking at in terms of logic. Like, she is sitting or floating on top of a fountain. Oh yes, she uses water magic, right? That makes sense, I guess. Yeah, I mean, sitting on water. That's what I'm trying to say, right? How do you sit on water? But yeah, a water magician makes sense, I guess. Moving on to the next one here. This is probably one of the most unhinged party resin figures I've seen in a long time. And yes, I mentioned about triggering SJWs earlier with No Game No Life's Shiro and also the hand reader figure. But this one is like a guarantee you'll trigger them, right? This is kind of we are entering an inappropriate territory over here because we have Raftalia holding what is literally a child, but that child has opie somehow. It is pretty weird, and her legs are wide open and you get to see the nyan. Yeah, this is a bit like holding a 5 or a 7-year-old up. We are getting into inappropriate stuff territory over here. And even as a lolly enthusiast, I'm not sure if this is this is acceptable at all, you know. Anyways, when I say I like lollies, like, I'm referring to lollies with a slightly more developed body shape, if that makes any sense. Like, they have childbearing hips, you know. The bottom of their body get that adult-like shape over there, even though they are lolly, they are short, and they have a flat chest. That is my kind of lolly. This is a bit way too much. And should you proceed to pre-order this thing, let's hope that you receive it safely instead of the cops knocking on the door. Yeah, in some countries like, I think, Australia, and a few countries in EU, I think they're pretty strict with these kind of things. In my country, it is the exact opposite, you know. When the customs officer sees a lolly character, even if she is in swimsuit, but the chest is as flat as her mom's washboard, this is just children, it is harmless, let it pass. Yeah. But if there are 2 big giant bedongas on the chest, haram, let's confiscate it. Prove it to me that you can't undress the figure or confiscate it. Yes, that is my experience so far. Good for lolly figure collectors like me, I guess. And despite saying that, you know, most of the figures I buy have giant opie for some reason. Anyways, let's move on to the next figure here. We have 3 Reze figures in this week alone. The first one here is my favorite one. Last Studio Artist Series Reze from Chainsaw Man. So that $642 you're seeing over there, that is for 2 figures. Reze and that bomb over there in black undergarment. 2 1x4 scale figures for $642. Personally, I would choose only Reze, which is $359. Considering what you're getting, that is a great price. And her face, this is like half anime, half realistic face in a way, but I like it a lot. And this is the kind of face that I don't mind having at all. I think this is one of the prettiest third-party Reze figures ever made so far. This is so attractive for some reason, and I would be content with this. It feels like they did even better than Hera Studio, for example. Yeah. So let's move on to the next Reze figure here. This is obviously based off the movie, which I have not watched yet. Pink Studio. Okay, this is Denji and Reze Keys of Fireworks. $199 for 2 1x6 scale figures and a diorama base. That is great value. September release. Let's have a closer look over here. Alright, nice. High-res picture. Yeah, detail levels are ordinary. This is like almost indistinguishable from PVC figures in terms of detail level, but you know, $100 each, acceptable, right? Very good price even. So I'm quite forgiving if the price reflects the detail level and the quality of the figure. In fact, I find this to be quite photogenic, you know, bring it outdoors and photograph it on the ground during sunset. Yeah, figure photography. Photogenic figure, man. Next up over here, this is also not bad. Like, we have 3 really good Resin figures, just that the first one earlier is my favorite. This is by AX Studio, Resin Chainsaw Man, $194 at 1/6 scale, releasing in, okay, not release date yet. This is accurate anime face, right? The first one earlier is like in between anime and release date. This is also very nice. You know, if this third-party resin brands from China, I heard that Chainsaw Man is extremely popular in China, and it really reflects in these third-party resin figure brands. It feels like they have extra enthusiasm. Whenever they make a resin figure, they put in more effort to make her look nicer. That is what I'm feeling, because there are a lot of great-looking third-party resin figures for some reason. Meanwhile, Makima and Power is more like a mixed bag. Some look great, some not so much. But resin figure consistently have good faces across many brands. Moving on to the next one here, we have 2 Marin Kitagawa figure. The first one is the normal one by Zhong Erbing Studio. Okay, I wanted to say Bing Chiling, you know. A Marin Kitagawa JK uniform from my Dress Up Darling, $199, releasing in, not release date again. Judgment time for the face, what do you think? I feel like her eyes are a tad bit too big. Almost there. Almost, but the eye is too big. Yeah, the third parties, they keep messing up Marin's face. Wow, can zoom in a lot. Yeah, this is like 90% her. I would say they did really well over here, but the eyes are a tad bit too big. Maybe I'm also part of the problem, right? I judge Marin Kitagawa figures a bit too seriously sometimes. Moving on to the next one here. We have the abnormal version or the Guna version by Meat Studio. And yeah, a lot of things to cover up, but you can already imagine what it looks like. So she's going for $274 at 1/6 scale, releasing in December. Once again, we have a third-party resin figure brand increasing the Oppai and the Oshiri size of an anime or game character. So the proportions are already wrong. Not something I would get. Yeah. Moving on to the next one here, we are now in game character section. I mean, Dates Alive, it may have 5 seasons of anime. It is also a game, right? So this is Tokisaki Kurumi school uniform from Hoiman Studio. $257. That is for 1/4 scale. Yeah, $257 only. 1/6 scale is available at $192. So 1/4 is like better value over here, and you get to choose between Barolik and Stockings. Tough choice because both of them look pretty nice. But I feel like for the kind of character and personality that Kurumi has, Stockings might be better. I don't know, man. She likes to tease the main character, isn't it? So as long as you get the face right, this is a really good face. It is pretty accurate. It looks like Kurumi. Okay, next up over here, yeah, I consider Hatsune Miku to be a game character because of Project Sekai. There's a game, Vocaloid game, right? If I'm not mistaken. So this is by Moku Studio. And that $274 once again is for 1/4 scale. And she comes with 2 sets of legs. Shoe version and barefoot version. 1/6 scale, you can choose only either one. Very smart. So $136 only. Okay, that is really cheap. But I want to have a close look of the face. Oh, okay. She turns out way better than I expected. Once again, this is like PVC figure level detail, but $136 acceptable. Not to mention you're getting this leg stretching pose. Okay, moving on to the next one here. Here we go again. Furry stuff from Jui Wanja Studio, and I heard that they are selling incredibly well. Yeah. This is Maid Gardevoir from Pokemon, $110. Oh, 2 characters here. Gardevoir and Kirlia. Okay. Why are Pokemons wearing maid outfit and bikinis? I have no idea, but you guys are into this kind of shit, so obviously they sell, right? And the next one here from the same studio, Iono Sexy Lingerie from Pokemon as well. This is an actual human character, right? I'm sorry, I don't play the game, nor did I watch any of the anime. $133, 1/8 scale, I think, 1/7 or 1/8, releasing in September. Let's have a closer look. Yeah, this is, yes, I recognize her. Kotobukiya has a figure of her in their Art FX series, right? Together with a Pokemon next to her. Okay, this is actually a human character. Not sure if the hair color is like this, I can't really remember. Moving on to the next one here, Origin Studio 1/4 scale Mai Shiranui from King of Fighters, $342 June release. This is actually a really good face of Mai Shiranui, right? Her face has been revised so many times over that by now, regardless of which version you prefer, it is just a matter of subjective taste. Where is the full figure? Yep, there we go. So $342 for this. All of this is actually reasonable for resin figure. And the face looks good, so not much wrong. Next up, we have Fry's Studio. Aerith from Final Fantasy. $489 at 1/3. Okay, that is a good price. Releasing in June. I feel like third-party brands, they have no problems with Aerith's face, but Tifa would be a hit or miss. Yeah, she's like staring into your soul or something. A bit creepy, in fact, when you look at her up close. And most Aerith figures are very plain and simple, isn't it? I did notice that as well. In terms of accuracy of the face, it really does look like her though. Up next, what do we have here? Okay, SAO Studio, Sword Art Online Studio is making figures from Nier Automata. 2B Bunny Girl, $411 at 1/4, no release date yet. Okay, the shy face is cute, but at the same time, it feels very out of character because 2B, she doesn't really give off the impression of being a character or a person or a robot with a shy or tsundere personality, so this one feels a bit off to me for that reason. Nothing wrong with the face, but it does not match her character, yeah. In the end, I see this as only a bunny girl figure with that fancy sofa or chair over there, so I'm not sure if I can justify the $411 though. Moving up next, oh, this is nice. From TG Studio, we have cheerleading team, Pyra and Mitra doing the leg stretch, and almost Hadaka. This is customable, by the way, so you may want one. $360 for a set, 1/6 scale, releasing in December. This is a good one. Their faces, I mean, about 90% there. It does look like those two characters. Could be a bit better, especially for Mitra, but if I were a big fan of Xenoblade and I collected parties, hell yes, I would pre-order this, right? This is nice, but this is all I can show on YouTube. Right, next up over here, oh, the Domo Studio is back with Gunnar figures. Yeah, we have Elec from Goddess of Victory Nikke, $218. June release, and this is all you get, no cast off, because C Gundam does not allow it. Yeah. I like to call that dude, yeah, the president of China, Xi Gundam. Anyways, it is such a shame that this is not customable, obviously. And even though I want an Elec figure or two really badly, this is not my priority because of the pose. Like, sure, I would love to have one, but not a priority. I would like to have the more normal looking figures of her first. And once I have those, but if I have leftover cash, then I'll think about this one, right? Yeah, I'm not in a hurry to pre-order this. But face-wise, of course, it looks accurate because there are no eyes to be seen. Moving on to the next one here, PA Create Studio Scarlet from Stellar Blade, $455 at 1/4 scale, September release. So for once, I will not complain about the face. So I'll let you guys decide if this is okay for you, right? Scarlet is proving to be a very popular character. And you know what? The re-release by Good Smile, which I pre-ordered, HLJ was pretty late in charging me. Finally, they did. And she is already selling out in some Japanese websites. Seriously, I did not expect her popularity to be this good, right? I think HLJ does not even have any leftover stock to put her in stock. Yeah, and she was even removed from Ami as well. At least before I recorded this video, yeah, I couldn't find her in stock in Ami too, the Good Smile version. I'm so glad I pre-ordered the re-release, seriously. Okay, so moving on to the next one here, we actually have a new character from Genshin Impact, Columbinia Hyposelenia by Halo Studio for $55 at 1x4 scale. If you want her in 1x6, that would be $299, which is still pretty pricey. But yeah, the base is probably responsible for the price, right? Okay, that is a lot of figure for $299, I guess, and I know nothing about this character yet, but I did saw the promo pictures and post on social media about a new Genshin character. Halo Studio, are they any good? The answer is yes. Yeah, their stuff are good. So if you like her, pre-order it. Moving on to the next one here, Atar Origin Studio. We have Firefly from Honkai Star Rail, looking really shy there. $325 at 1x4. 1x6 version is available at $192. $192 is okay, fair enough. I just noticed that the base is quite detailed. Yeah, you're paying a lot for the base, I guess. Wouldn't be my first or second or third Firefly figure, but you know, the face looks very nice. That shy face over there, the better not skimp on it. The shy face over there, they better not skimp or cut any corners on it. Whether this figure is successful or not depends on the face. Moving on to the next third party here from FWS Studio, Chen Hai from Azur Lane. This is a good looking figure. Almost looks official, in fact. Chen Hai only is $299, but for an additional $61, you can cast her off. Yes, this is castable. So there is a lot of reason to get this one. Oh, she looks nice. I could have mistaken this for a 1x6 scale figure by any game. Seriously, this is very nice, man. Like I said earlier, looks very official. Yep, very promising looking figure. So perhaps one of the best third parties this week for the 1x6 scale territory. Next up, another good one here from Azur Lane Studio. They are really going all out with Wuthering Waves, right? They have been announcing Wuwa figures every week. Yeah, this time around, this is Cantarella. I'm showing only version A on screen, too lazy to censor version B, but not cast-offable, unfortunately, just more fan service. And version A is all I need, to be honest, $287. Yeah. Version B is available in 1.6 and 1.4, you know, low detail, swimsuit, showing a lot of skin, and you still can't cast it off, so I would take this any day, right? A high quality, high detail 1.6 or 1.7 scale is always better than a low detail 1x4 scale. I stand by that comment all these years, right? Though part of it is me being really harsh on freeing for a reason, yeah. As for this Cantarella, the face is fantastic. Looks exactly like the game character, I think. Yeah. Azur Lane Studio is doing really good work with Wuwa characters. Next up, another good Wuwa figure, Hakimi Studio, also a pretty good brand among the third parties. This is Luno. Is it Luno or Iuno? Let me know down in the comments below. Is it IU or LU? They did not use capital letter of L, so this could be Iuno. I have been pronouncing her name wrongly all this while. Standard version and deluxe version, I think it is the base. Standard version $274, deluxe version $299. What? $15 difference, what is the point? Just buy the deluxe one. Ho ho, this is awesome. You know that Chen Hai figure earlier from Azur Lane, that was a pretty good figure, yet she got overshadowed by these two Wuwa figures, man. Oh, my kind of thing, this level of detail. This is like Ishtar from FGO in a way. I'm thinking really hard about this one. I like it a lot. Man. This is Ishtar, man. Like Chinese version of Ishtar. Right. Moving on to the next one here. Wuwa again. Chisa Kuchiba from Strange Thief Studio. Now this brand is something that I can't really recommend. They do simple figures like this and they rely on fan service to sell the figures. But there are so many good Chisa figures currently on pre-order. Why would I get this one, right? So this is $174 and you get to choose between black or white underwear. Just that. No cast off, nothing else. $174, nope. Releasing in June. And the last figure for today, that would be Miyin Studio, Ye Shun Guang from Xander's Zone Zero. This is a figure and a character that I wish that Apex Toys would quickly make one in this same pose. Yeah, Miyin Studio, their figures are not exactly the most detailed. They look fairly entry level in fact, but they are consistent at least. Yeah, I've seen people complain about how Miyin Studio figures, they end up looking a bit cheaper than these official product pictures, and I do agree, but at least they actually look identical. But this brand is like a B tier brand, right? There are many other third-party brands that are better than them, just that they don't screw up the faces of the figures. So I can still recommend them if you like what you're looking at. Wait, there is a character from Honkai Impacted that looks like this. What was her name again? Apex Toys and Ultra made a figure of her. Yes, I don't remember the name, but I think you know which character I'm referring to. I suppose that Hoyoverse is just recycling the character designs just like Alicia and Siren. Yeah, pretty character. I love this one. And that is all for figure pre-orders this week. And that is all for figures on pre-order this week. Which one will you pre-order early? Which one will you purchase maybe after release or wait for a bargain bin? I would love to hear it down in the comments below. So until then, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to this channel for more anime figure content. And until then, thanks a lot for watching. I'll see you soon. Goodbye.